Princess Diana was the most popular woman, the most photographed woman, and the most loved woman of all times. Yet, she may have just been the most hated by some. The world was told that the princess died in an ordinary car crash, but evidence leads to the suggestion that Diana's death was no accident. Rather, she was murdered.
Diana Frances was born on July 1, 1961. She went to Riddlesworth Hall School. Although she was not a very bright student, she had talent for music. Before her marriage to Prince Charles, she was known as Lady Diana Spencer. On February 6, 1981, Prince Charles proposed to Diana, and she then became the Princess of Wales. Their engagement was kept a secret for a few weeks. After the couple got married, Diana and Charles had 2 children, future King William and Henry, also known as Harry. Diana was always thought as a loving mother and wanted her 2 boys to be exposed to the outside world. Her sweet character made her a great role model to many people worldwide, especially women.
August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana was traveling in Paris along with Dirty Fad and driver Henry Paul in the Pointe d'Amour tunnel. One paparazzi car was pursuing the black Mercedes, causing it to crash into a pillar. The driver and Dirty died on spot while Diana was taken to the hospital and died a few hours later from fatal injuries caused by the crash. Many people believe that Princess Diana's death was not a mere accident, but it was a conspiracy.
The main question that crosses many individuals' mind is, who would want to kill a woman loved by so many people? There are multiple motives suggesting the royal family was behind Diana, the Princess of Wales' death. According to Christine Fitzgerald, a close friend of Diana's, Diana found out information about the royal family that no one was ever to find out. Diana was terrified but quiet, she said. Diana was told by the Queen Mother that if she ever revealed the truth about them, she would be killed.
Another main motive was the fact that Diana may have been about to get engaged to Egyptian billionaire Dodi Fayed.
The royal family could not tolerate the fact that the stepfather of the future king would be a non-Christian, furthermore a Muslim. Sources confirmed that Queen Elizabeth did not approve of the two getting married, despite the fact that Diana was divorced.
The strongest supporting piece of evidence is this letter written by Diana to her former butler in October 1993, 10 months after her separation was announced.
She wrote, "I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him to marry Tiggy. Camilla is nothing but a decoy, so we are all being used by the man in every sense of the word."
More evidence follows. Henry Paul, their cab driver, was accused of being drunk while driving up to 3 times the limit, according to his blood samples. However, investigation proved that in security footage preceding the accident, Paul appeared to not be drunk at all. It is argued that since the blood was not given for DNA testing, the blood samples were switched and the blood did not belong to Henry Paul. Yet again, more evidence is uncovered. The route taken by Diana and Dodi's Mercedes had 14 CCTV security cameras along the way. However, all footage from these cameras were completely lost, or no recordings had been taken at all, as if a hijacking had been performed on the security system.
Friends and acquaintances of Diana confirmed that she was a faithful seatbelt user and never rode without her seatbelt on. The fact that both Diana and Dodi's seatbelts were not used in the car ride suggested that it had intentionally been sabotaged from before. Professor Andre Lionheart, who reviewed the emergency services response, said, "What is certain is that she was not wearing a seatbelt and this made things worse. We would like to think that if she had been wearing a seatbelt, would have been able to save her." CNN also did an analysis of the crash and concluded that injuries would have been minor had the occupants been wearing seatbelts.
Former SAS sniper known as Soldier N told his wife that the SAS killed Diana by flashing a laser beam in the driver's eyes. His wife made this crucial piece of information public when SAS officers had arrived at her house and offered her £500, which is over $800 American, to keep quiet about Diana's death. Mrs. N said,
The threatening and sinister way that the SAS dealt with me made what my husband said about the regiment's role in Diana's death all the more believable.
The claim of the flashing lights is further backed up by witness Francois Levistre, who said, "I realized there was this major white flash of the motorbike in front of the Mercedes in front of the car."
The transport to the hospital was also proof suggesting conspiracy. According to call logs, the first call to the emergency services was made at 12:26 a.m. The first emergency officials to arrive at the scene arrived at around 12:30. The doctor in charge of the SAMU ambulance, Dr. Jean-Marc Martineau, arrived at around 12:40 a.m. The princess was removed from the car at 1 o'clock a.m. and she was moved to the SAMU ambulance at 1:18 a.m. The ambulance departed the crash scene at 1:41 a.m. and arrived at the hospital at 2:06 a.m. The ambulance was purposely traveling slowly on Dr. Martineau's instructions. A 10-minute drive took 26 minutes to get to the hospital, let alone the 1 hour that was spent at the scene. It was near impossible for this to be believed as a coincidence. The facts are plenty and the evidence is substantial. Thus, the only conclusion that can be reached is that Diana Spencer's death was none other than an intricately formulated murder.